Hi, I'm Larry Hosey. Welcome to Demystifying Artistic Crafts. I am a member of the Brantford Garden Club, and I am an accredited flower show judge. I have segmented this video into 8 parts: rules, tools, adhesives, embellishing, possible materials, preserving methods, previous artistic craft designs that I have done, and a look into the 2026 flower show schedule on artistic craft ideas. What is an artistic craft? As per the NGC Handbook of Flower Shows, artistic crafts are objects with a function. They may be artistically pleasing, but were not created solely for their artistic value. They serve a purpose and can be labeled as a certain object, such as a basket, package, or hat. When entering a flower show, procure a flower show schedule. I will be using the present 2026 flower show schedule, A Storybook Garden, presented by the Federated Garden Clubs of Connecticut. I am the Artistic Crafts Chairman for this show. Let us turn to Division 4, Botanical Arts, Myths. The artistic craft rules. They're printed in your schedule. They are: artistic crafts are objects with a function. They may be artistically pleasing, but were not created solely for their artistic value. They serve a purpose and can be labeled as a certain object, such as a basket, necklace, package, or hat. Each exhibit must be the work of the exhibitor, under whose name it is exhibited, and cannot have been previously entered or judged in an NGC flower show. All exhibits must contain a majority of fresh and or dried plant material and or fungi. Only dried plant material may be treated. Plant material must be in its natural form state. Example, flax made into fabric or ribbon is not in its natural state. No artificial, endangered, or locally invasive plant material may be used. Please refer to the policy on the use of native and invasive plant websites noted in the general rules on page 3. Non-plant material may be used for construction, but must not be visible except as noted in the class description. Forms may be assembled from plant material. Clipping, cutting, or shaping of material is allowed. All artistic craft entries must have a minimum 5x8 key card showing samples of each material used in the design and identified by name. The general guidelines for all designs, as printed in the Flower Show Handbook for Flower Shows, Chapter 7, apply to botanical arts, including the key card. See Handbook for other detailed artistic crafts information and botanical art scale of points, Chapter 14. I have assembled some of my favorite tools from my toolbox. You should have scissors, a little sewing snips, a craft knife or utility knife, pruners, several kinds of needle nose, pin nose pliers. These are little rounded pliers used in jewelry making for bending wire. I have several types of wire cutters. These are flush cuts, tweezers, I love this Japanese handsaw. It has a fine tooth and it has a coarser tooth. There's also other types of small handsaws. You should probably have a hacksaw as well. I like this little fella. It's a magnifier and it has little arms that can hold items. A bench vise is a handy tool to have. This one just adheres to your bench. I have a newly acquired favorite tool. It's a mini drill press for those seeds or nuts you want to put a hole in, maybe for a necklace. I think the best item to have in your toolbox is a form of Dremel tool. It's a brand name, but it's a moto tool. And it accepts smaller bits. It has all kinds of drills, tiny borers, sanders, little disc sanders. It even has its own little saw blade. So these are some of my favorite tools. I bet you have yours as well. Let me describe some of the adhesives that I have in front of me. You have your PVA white glue or clear glue. It's the school glue. Elmer's is a brand that everybody knows. I've used this on usually paper items, but anyways, if you're going to use it, I like to find these small tipped little containers. It makes it much easier to apply. There is tacky glue. All three of these are water-based glues. There's your multi-purpose glue. I purchased these at Ocean State Job Lot. These are very, very good. You can glue just about anything. I've used this on a lot of artistic crafts. You can use it like a contact adhesive, where you put some on both sides and you put it together for a very fast adhesion. On larger surfaces, I would put it one side and adhere your materials to it. Then we have our floral glues. Oasis makes floral glue. It's cold glue in the industry. The problem with this is it strings, and this particular brand, the color is amber. I like to put it in the toothpaste holder. It makes it much easier to use. You can stand it up. If you lay it down, it's gonna spew very quickly. The other thing is you could put it in a cup. While researching online, I came across this. It's a no brand. It's floral adhesive. It has a nice metal tip, which gives you just a tiny bit of glue. The other glues are all clear. Just be careful if you're gluing fresh plant material. Make sure that the glue that you're purchasing is made for fresh plant material. Some of the floral glues are made just for plastics in the floral industry. Cold glue, as it's called, is made so you could glue fresh plant material to wet oasis, to dry oasis, to making corsages, to making wristlets. It's a very good floral glue even to use for dried plant material. The other glue is your hot glue. It's it's quick adhesion as it cools very fast. Um, you have to be careful with burns. That's why I always keep a small cup of either cold water or ice cubes so you can put your fingers in there and it'll stop the burning. With this glue and most of these, there's that stringing ability. I find that with hot glue, when it strings, if when you're finished with your project, to use a hair dryer on low and you blow it, and it seems to either melt those strings or it clumps them up and it's easy to pull off. The other thing I don't like about hot glue is if you're doing a large area, it seems to cool fast. So it's made for smaller areas. I always keep a small hot glue gun in my tool bag when I travel. It's very easy in case something breaks. This is very quick. The other adhesive that I have here is a spray adhesive. It works very, very well. I use it like contact adhesive sometimes, where you spray part A, part B, put the two together. If it's a large flat surface, that's where your brayer comes in handy to smooth it out. With the spray adhesive, I like Super 77. It seems to be the best that I've found. Cover your area or spray it in a box because this just goes all over. There's an overspray. It also has a smell. When using this, make sure you use gloves. If you happen to get this on you, there's two ways to really get it off. I use Pam and a rather rough paper towel. And if you rub it in and then wash your hands with hot soap and water, it seems to take it off. The other way to do it is to use hot water and pull the material off your skin. Embellishing your plant material. Here are some of my favorites. There's textured spray paint. There's shiny spray paint. There's spray glitters. You have nail polish, clear coats, glitters, pearlescence. By adding a pearlex powder to a clear coat, be it nail polish or be it an acrylic, it gives your piece a pearlescent look. Don't forget about your hobby paints and your acrylics. They come clear, metallic, color shifts. You can get pearl colors. Whether you use spray paint out of the can or you use a spray brush, there's plenty of choices. I would like to share with you some painting techniques that I've used. In the background, you could see cloves that were painted, and I applied some nail polish glitter to a couple of them in front. They have a little glisten. You could see the kidney bean, and then you see its red stone. Well, to make that red stone, I first colored the kidney bean silver. Then I applied some red nail polish, let that dry. I went over with clear coat, let that dry. I used some glitter, nail polish, let that dry. Then a very light coat of red, and then I followed up with a coat of the clear nail polish, and that gives depth. It's kind of hard to see it here, but it does give depth to that stone. There's a little bit of a sparkle, and surrounding it are cloves. Hopefully they look like diamonds. And I used clove, and the backing that I used was raffia. That's raw raffia. Either I peeled it away after, or I painted it silver to match. So long as you don't see it, it's fine. It's only if you see the plant material on the finished product. I want to share with you another product called Golden Clear Leveling Gel. The purpose of this is when you apply it to a item that is rough in texture, instead of sanding it, you could smooth it out with the clear leveling gel. You could see the 3 stages. Before I do any color enhancing, I usually start with a base coat of silver. And this is turkey tail fungus that I've used. You could see I painted that the same way as I did my gemstone. There were several layers. There's a magenta layer, and then I finally covered it with clear coat. You can also use the Golden's leveling gel. That product is water soluble, whereas the nail polish, you need a solvent to clean it. The back of it, I used gold paint. I take the gold spray and I spray it onto a piece of cardboard. Then by using a brush, I use that and paint it on, and it's really shiny. It's a gorgeous gold. And the same thing with the silver. It gets very shiny instead of buying other paints, and I just edged it in silver or gold. I want to share with you another piece of plant material. These are peppercorns, green peppercorn. I took 3 green peppercorn and I glued them together with 3 yellow mustard seed. So there's another idea when creating your pieces for the show. When doing artistic crafts, don't forget about your legumes and your spices, whole spices. I have a small sampling. I have some fava bean. I have kidney beans. I have soybean. I have garbanzo beans. I have lentils. I have cinnamon stick. Star anise, clove, mustard seed, black pepper corn. Don't forget about sesame seed, white rice, wild rice. There's fennel. There's caraway. So there's plenty of choices out there to be used. Some of these you're probably thinking, for what use? Well, this makes a nice ruby. This could be some sort of a gemstone, or it could just be an accoutrement on something. These make wonderful pearls. This is a nice legume to have, painted. Lentils for trim. Cinnamon sticks, if they're sliced, if you have a small saber saw or hand saw, and you cut them thin. They have a cute shape on them. They sort of curl. Star anise. These make wonderful rhinestones or diamonds because they're already set. The little dried bud and its calyx, The bud can be a stone and the calyx can be its holder. So you have an instant gemstone. So your pantry, don't forget to rate it. There's a gathering of possible dried plant materials. I have eucalyptus. There's several varieties. Just the leaves are fantastic shape. There's grevillea for its toothy look. Oak leaves. Equisetum. Safflower. Skeletonized leaves. Leucadendron. Liatris. Crispidia. Pine cone, with which my bow tie is made out of. Brunia. It's nice balls, ball shape, round. Orangium. Artemisia. Corn husk. Some dried leaves. I have some cryptomeria. Some grasses. I think this is foxtail grass. I have some lamian, several sizes. I have some fungi. There's lichen. These are this happens to be turkey tail. I think this is turkey tail, only it's older. This I'm not sure of. You can carve fungus too. And there's moss. All these plant materials have been dried in an oven on a very low setting, the lowest setting you could. My oven is 175, so depending on the plant material, I dry it anywhere from 15-20 minutes up to 2 hours, depending on the thickness. Your fungus, you should really dry in an oven. This kills all the little insects that are inside of this that you don't see. I had a box of this and turkey tail, and it was about a year or two old, and I went into it and it was nothing but dust. So if you do dry your plant, your fungus and your plant material, it helps out with insects. I would like to share with you 4 methods of preserving plant material. The first is air drying. Air drying, I dried this leucadendron by hanging it upside down. You can do this for most everything. Some dry much better than others. Linaria, for example, dries quite well. Coxcomb dries excellent that way. Hydrangea, on the other hand, air drying, you can retain some of the most beautiful colors, the blues, the reds, the pinks. I find that a lot of air drying, if you hang it in a dark, cool spot, it'll dry much better and you'll preserve the color. The other way of drying, I dry roses air drying when I buy them. When you air dry them, they look like this. your deeper colors get much, much deeper. Your reds are just intense. But then on the other hand, when you dry your yellows or whites, they turn very dark in color, which are fine. You can always use these. Spray them silver, spray them gold, spray them a color. So there's 2 different colors. I find that if you clip them, leave a stem maybe an inch, half an inch, clip them. I use egg cartons, the paper cartons. I put them in there, leave them open until they dry, then you can close them up. And you have a nice storage container. The second method I would like to share is pressing. Either you can buy a flower press, which is 2 pieces of wood, usually with 4 wing nuts in the corner. It has some sort of a blotter paper, and you put your plant material in, and you stack them up and put the other piece of wood on top and crank them down, and it presses. The other way to press is to press in a book. These are lamb's ears that were pressed, and they stayed very, very well. They retain some of their color, they retain their fuzz. And you could, every few pages, I put another layer. These are excellent for large area coverage. So that's the second method. The third method of drying I would like to share is silica gel. Silica gel is a granular material. It's little beads. Most of them have a little colored bead in there. Once they get dark or they change color, it's time to refresh your silica gel by popping it in the oven and drying it out. You can see the difference in air drying as opposed to silica gel. Now these roses, there's quite a difference between these two. Silica gel it's very easy. It's a matter of putting a little on the bottom. I usually leave a little stem on the plant material. You can glue, once it's dried, you can always glue a stem or wrap. And you carefully pour your silica gel around your flower, making sure it's totally covered. You don't want to flatten it out. You want to keep its form. Just cover it over. In a container like this, you could probably, depending on the size flower, you could probably do 2 or 3 flowers. Now with this, I would cover, and you could microwave it is the fastest way for, depending on your plant material, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes in the microwave on high. Once it's finished in the microwave, either let it set in the microwave or pull it out and just let it cool. The other way is to do exactly what I did. You would cover it and you wait anywhere from 2 to 7 days depending on your plant material. So you could see the difference in the plant material. All this plant material was dried in silica gel, either in a shoebox or a larger container. The last method of preserving I would like to share with you is glycerin. I mix 1 part glycerin to 2 parts hot water. You immerse your plant material into it, mainly leaves. It does preserve their color in the autumn instead of buying those colored leaves that they sell in the stores. This, I want to say, was maybe the beginning of November, and I've had them out of glycerin, and you can see how they're so supple still, all of them. So this is the last method that I would like to share with you. I'm sure there's other methods if you either Google them or on YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of other preserving methods. I have a few entries from past years of mine I would like to share with you, just to show you what can be done with some of the materials that I had explained. The red gem is made out of a fava bean surrounded by clove, which is surrounded by peppercorn. The little curly cues are slices of cinnamon stick, accented with pearls from soybean, topped with garbanzo beans. I don't remember what the gold plant material, the scroll plant material is, but the feet are made out of kidney beans. The light blue striped material are twigs. The entire egg is made from skeletonized leaves that were decoupaged, creating the egg. The little ballerina is made out of twig. Her dress is skeletonized leaves. Her bodice is trimmed in mustard seed with more skeletonized leaves. Her little tiara is made out of rice. Her body, arms, and legs are made out of twigs that were carved down. The small red gems, they are made out of kidney beans, surrounded by clove. Anything silver is clove. The hash marks on the side to give that mesh look is wild rice centered with a piece of lentil. The same thing on the side. I used a leaf material twisted, wrapped around. There is clove and soybean. And that is our Romanoff egg. The napkin rings were created from turkey tail mushroom, and the center was a small styrofoam ball covered in mustard seed. The napkin ring part was made from rye seed glued on a very fine wire. The necklace was created from clove. The little gems were soybean. The bigger gem was a kidney bean. The tiara is created from clove and black bean. Backed with raffia. As I said, so long as you don't see it, hiding it, it's fine. The purpose of this video, Demystifying Artistic Crafts, is to give an insight into what items to use for artistic crafts, what types of adhesives, possibly what types of materials to use to color your plant material. This is for the 2026 Flower Show schedule, a storybook garden presented by the Federated Garden Clubs of Connecticut, of which I'm the Artistic Crafts Chairman. Let's start with Division 4, Botanical Arts, Myths. In the schedule, it states Artistic Crafts section and classes. Section A, Beware Greeks Bearing Gifts. Eligible for the Botanical Arts Artistic Craft Award. 4 entries in each class. Display area for each entry is 24 inches wide, 29 inches deep, on a 29-inch high table covered and skirted in black. Entries must not extend beyond allotted space. Now, to this, I would like to add, it's cut a piece of cardboard or cloth, 24 inches wide, 29 inches long. This gives you your allotted space that you could create your artistic craft. Class 1, Athena's Shield, a shield decorated with natural dried material. Shield may be manufactured or constructed from manufactured materials. Exhibitors supplied display stand and or staging are allowed and may be manufactured. That means you would have to have your own display stand. The box, it's a good idea. I would probably use a smaller one, put a small rock or a brick on it to hold it, and that would make a good display stand. This shield that I made was from a Dollar Tree. It's a plastic tray, of which I sprayed with that Super 77 spray adhesive, and I adhered hydrangea leaves when they were fresh. I let them dry, then I color enhanced them. I enhanced the shield with acorn caps. I used azalea leaves, pussy willow stem, and lunaria. This just gives you an idea as to what items you can use. Most these were all painted before they went onto the shield, so it just alleviates that little bit of mishap. Let's move on to Class 2, Hermes Wing Sandal. One sandal completely covered in natural dried materials to be displayed on a clear acrylic shoe stand supplied by the committee. Stand dimensions and details are available from the class consultant. What I used was a Goodwill sandal. I removed all the strapping. I just kept the back and of course the sole and the inner. What I did was I covered it with sprayed it with the Super 77, and I used aspidistra leaf on the bottom, aspidistra leaf on the inside. This sandal is not made to be judged. You can see the material I used was too fragile. I tried using alstroemeria leaf because they were long, and that's what I happened to have at hand to quickly make something. But as it dried, you can see it's super fragile. I really wouldn't use it. So I used the leaf, and then I enhanced it with a little bit of leather leaf. The strapping was made out of a material called hala. It's a tropical leaf. It's probably 3 to 4 feet long. It has a very prominent center rib. I used pieces of it dried, and I made the strapping for it. I also used the alstroemeria leaf on the front, and I used a couple of acorns. This just gives you an idea, maybe what it would pop in an open or unopened box, completely covered in natural dried materials. Exhibitor supplied display stand and or staging are allowed and may be manufactured. Here I used a card box that I purchased at Goodwill. I took the easy road. I covered it with aspidistra. I used eucalyptus leaf and a rose mallow pod, which is the northern hibiscus. I used equisetum to border it. The Greek key I made out of echinacea stem. I would pre-paint and then glue on. The whole trick to any one of these artistic crafts is to make sure your mechanics are covered. Front, back, if the box is going to be open, then make sure the inside is completely covered. You can keep it closed, then you don't have the inside. And class 4, Harmonia's Ethereal Youth Necklace. A necklace completely covered in natural dried material to be displayed on a 15-inch tall black velvet bust mannequin supplied by the committee. But dimensions and details are available from the class consultant. I don't have a picture of necklace. I did have one earlier, the silver necklace. That one I used clove. Let your imagination go. The whole thing is you make sure all of your mechanics are covered with some sort of natural plant material. I can't stress that enough. Thank you for watching. I hope this video inspires you to enter an NGC Flower Show's Artistic Crafts section. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.